Hello everyone, my name's Ian. Welcome back to my hobby YouTube channel in brief book and film reviews. So today I'm going to do a review of a really good book that I read many years ago called The Shankill Butchers, the real story of cold-blooded mass murder. Indeed, this book was written by Martin Dillon, a very famous author who has international acclaim for his works, writing works upon the Irish conflict in the north of Ireland. This book was published by Routledge Publishers and was published on the 2nd of March 1999. The pages are 292 pages long, and the customer reviews were 4.5 out of 5 scoring. So this book is, like I said, is a really good book, very interesting actually in that. One of those books, when you pick it up, you really don't want to put it down and that, because from the get-go you kind of encapsulate you, and you really want to keep on reading, because of they want to get to the whole story of how they got caught, what was done to try and stop them along the way, and what the intentions were originally. Okay, so the book is based around I think about 4 or 5 psychopaths coming from the Ulster Unionist background. I think near all of them were members at some time of the Ulster Volunteer Force, and they were basically a gang who set upon innocent people, most notably Catholics, for basically their religion, and seen as people who would be seen as being nationalist, or would favour United Ireland and stuff like that, you know. So the ringleader of the group was a guy called Leonard Murphy, otherwise known as Lenny Murphy. And unfortunately, you know, at the early stages of the book and that, it'll get into basically it's kind of really actually based around Leonard himself as well, and that being the ringleader. I didn't really go too much into the other people's, the other gangs' backgrounds and stuff. Went into Leonard's. Leonard was a young lad from the Shankill Road, who unfortunately for his sake, when he went to school, had a very popular Irish national second name, Murphy. Okay, so wherever you go across the globe, or more, if you hear the name Murphy, it would be, you know, it being as you're Irish and that, you know, you come from North Ireland or the motherland and stuff like that, you know. And unfortunately for him, growing up in a Protestant school, his mother being a Protestant and his father being a very quiet Catholic who worked on the docks, he would have been bullied for this. And obviously, you know, with bullying, you know, for something like that, for your name, you probably wouldn't understand why you were, but you'd also grow up with a lot of hate and frustration and stuff, and that, and all that hate and frustration boiled up over the years, and he turned into basically the animal that people might have seen him as, because of having that second name. And he became an active member of you know, people who used to maybe slag him for his second name and that, you know, which would be the Ulster Unionist Volunteer Force and that. I don't want to really get too much into all of that, but as the book goes on, you'll read that yourself. As the book goes on, it'll give you the accounts of the build up to it and that, you know, how this gang was just bloodthirsty hound dogs, bigoted with hatred and that, and were just full of sectarianism, and wanted blood, you know, at the time where the IRA were taking their fight and you know, their battles and their struggle to mainland Britain, and they wanted to try and take the easy option of you know, just basically just killing Catholics and that on the street, just kidnapping innocent ones. These Catholics probably might actually not wanted, might not have seen themselves as nationalists, or might not have wanted to be in the Northern Ireland and that, you know, who's to know. But it didn't really matter with these, because once you're a Catholic, these guys were going to set upon you. And how they did that was basically they came into contact of having a black taxi through, I think it was one of the members of the gang, who was a taxi driver himself, and they wanted to use it as a tool to grab someone from off the streets drunken most of the time and that. But it just shows the level of inhumane and cowardice that, you know, this gang was, and that, you know, in who they were picking on. It was kind of like people who wouldn't probably be able to fend off themselves and stuff, defend themselves against maybe 2 or 3 people, where there'd be guys out there who probably would be able to take 2 or 3 or raise the alarm pretty quick, you know, or try and get away from such people and that. All in all, it talks about the killings of I think it was 23 Catholics, and I think it was they killed 8 Protestants as well. Six I think were in a different organisation, UDA or something like that, and 2 were Protestants who were mistaken for Catholics. So there were sickos, very unintelligent in the crime, or trying to you know, kind of planning that kind of thing, and that, you know, to try and get away from it. And in the end, I think a couple of them went down, 2 or 3 of them got off, but the main ringleader, Leonard, got a bullet to the head by the IRA later on. It's a clean kill. They just found out who was orchestrating this. One of the saddest thing I found in the book was the Royal Ulster Constabularies effectiveness and how to capture this gang. You kind of get the sense that there was definitely collusion there from the RUC, and a kind of a lackluster approach, where if it was on she was on the other foot and it was Protestants being murdered, no doubt they would have whipped up the perpetrator straight away. And that's one of the things that you define in the Troubles, and that straight away you distinguish between people, you know, on the both avoid, you know, whether you're a Unionist and a Protestant, or a Catholic and a member of the IRA, nationalist, and that, you know. So if you were an innocent person, you were, say, a non-denominational that, and you're in a, say, like a Protestant area, Shankill Road or some place like that, and you were set upon by a person rather than a gun, if someone turned around and said to you, what's your religion? Well, unless you were completely stupid or very naive, which a lot of people would be, you most definitely wouldn't want to say Catholic, because a nationalist or a Catholic wouldn't, member of the IRA wouldn't kill you based upon your religion. They'd be basically kill you based upon your activity or your suspicious activity towards the national agenda, where Protestants and Unionists would most definitely set upon you. For you, they would basically pull up and ask you, like, what's your religion, and if you was dumb enough to turn around and say Catholic, or naive enough to turn around and say Catholic, they would pop you straight away, because, you know, it's not a secret to know that a lot of the Unionists up in the north would be seen as bigots. And I'm not saying that there's people in you know, from the Catholic background are not bigots and that, but their battle is against Catholics, against Irish nationalism, and that, based upon their love of the crown and everything that is you know, the UK. So that's how you would distinguish you know, someone who would come up to you if you were in that really poor position, where you know, your life was in danger. If you didn't say Protestant, I mean, put it this way, like, if I was in that position, I would turn around and say, I remember Protestant Church of England, you know, and just to have any slim chance, because I know for a fact that Catholics wouldn't come at you because, you know, nationalists wouldn't come at you because of their religion. There's been many famous Republicans, Wolfe Tone being one of them, and that, who had, you know, were Protestant Presbyterians. So that's it. Anyway, just so waving around from the book myself, and that, waving off the actual book, and that, it was really well written, immensely well written by Martin Dillon. It really was. It's one of those books, like I said, you'd stay there, you'd be reading it, and you're like, wow, it's very disturbing as well, very sad the way some people glorify it. In the book, there was a picture of Leonard Murphy's grave saying, "Here lies a soldier." Well, that's definitely one thing that he was not. He was an absolute psychopath, to be honest with you, you know. And if it was someone of the Catholic faith, the nationalist faith, that did that to Protestants, I'd say the same thing. I really would, because you know, you're not, you know, soldier, someone who goes out and fights for the country if it's under threat or something, you know, the sovereignty is under threat. But that person there and the people who he was with, his gang, were nothing more than cowards. And as you read the book and understand, you begin to accept that. And I don't really understand. I wouldn't care which background you're from. You definitely would you'd agree that they were cowards, and that, you know. And it was very, very sad. You see the pictures of the people killed. But the thing that got me the most about the book was the RUC's inability to capture them straight away. And that was a sad time. That was a sad thing at the time. So the Royal Ulster Constabulary are now disbanded, and they called the Prison Service of Northern Ireland at this moment. And that was a real sad thing about the collusion, so much collusion in the north in them days. Something that wouldn't happen nowadays, I don't believe, because of all technology, you know, and you know, all the gadgets, technology, sound, listening devices, tracking devices. These people would never have gotten away with what they've got away with, you know, in these days, had they done it these days. And that, so I thought it was a really, really interesting book. Definitely one that you'd have to read to see the sadistic side of these bigots, you know, and what they thought they were the war, but it wasn't a war, you know. It was just their insecurities, you know, as people, you know. But anyway, I don't want to go too much into it, and that's it. That's my review for the day. Definitely, he's got a really, really good review on Goodreads, on Amazon as well, and that definitely worth reading, and that, you know. Yeah, prayers to all those people who lost their lives, to these butchers and these you know, these torturers, murderers and stuff, and that, and prayers and blessings to their families always. And that's it. I just wanted to come online and give the review to that book, the Shankill Butchers, the real story of cold-blooded mass murder, by Martin Dillon. Very good book. So that's it for me for this week, and next week I will do a video review, film review next week, and that. And until then, stay blessed, stay positive, and count your blessings always. All the best.